adjusting. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Happy Friday. TGIF is May 21st, a little after 4. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Okay, for those of you who don't know, my name is Kimberly McLaurin, also known as Nuke, shop steward, progressive action member, local 100 member. Good afternoon, everyone. You have to excuse my background. I live in the middle of Harlem and it's warm outside, so you're gonna hear some things. Let me know if you guys can hear me, and please let me know if you can't hear me, because earlier it was a whole bunch of landscapers out there with the sawing and the mowing and all that craziness, and now it's the horns. Hey Blake, how are you? Hi Lance. Hey Tony. All right, today, as you can see, I don't know if you caught the title, Where's My Money Going? Transit Safety and some other things. Everything pretty much boils down to money, right? So, but my concern is, where is my money going when it comes to my union dues? That is a big issue for me. I would love to know why I'm not feeling secure with my union and I pay them. You guys should be wondering the same thing. Are we getting what we're paying for as far as the union is concerned? I don't know if a lot of you actually go to the TW Local 100 site. If you do, or if you don't, you actually should do that. There is some information on there. If you were on here on the website, so it's twlocal100.org, last year was pretty much filled with obituaries. This year, it's more of it looks more active, like far as, like our president looks very, very active, like he's putting up a good fight. There's a lot of strong pictures. I wish I could show you guys, but you can go on your own time, of him making speeches and press conferences. We even have VP of Local 100 up there. Local 100, VP of RTO, my department, up there. Is another one that says arrested in razor chase, arrest made in razor chase of conductor. So they're showing you that work is being done. Union fight continues to increase police presence on buses. That's another title there. TW scores big win for workers. Rider safety as TW scores big win for workers. Rider safety as mayor announced 250 more cops for subway. That's something I would like to address. So I know many of you have heard that the local has been calling for more officers. The MTA, Sarah Feinberg, has been calling for more officers. As of right now, we're supposed to have 750 officers in addition to, I guess, what we had before. Now they want to add another 250. To do what exactly? That is my question, because if we already have 750, and our major issue, especially if you work in a subway, is deployment. Many of you have noticed, and this has been going on for years, and even more visible now that there's more of them. A lot of them tend to hide out in our crew rooms, or you might see them standing by the token booth. Everyone's on their phone, not really present. What's the point of adding more officers if no one's talking about how they're being utilized? Of course, we have TOMS, but is that is that a effective way to police the subway system? What do you guys think about TOM? That's when they stop your train, you get their badge number, and then they look through the train and you go on your merry way. Hold on. So, like I said, with deployment. So I was in a conductor meeting for RTO, conductor tower meeting last week, And in that meeting, a question was asked about system safety, not the unit, but safety in the system. And our vice president, also one of, he's unelected, Melendez, he does good work. I can never take that from him. He does good work for at 130, especially I think with people that go out on comp or, have some type of IOD. But they were asked, who are they speaking to as far as deployment of the police officers? They informed us that they had a liaison, but also admitted that this liaison had no prominent title. He couldn't do anything in particular, but it's a possibility that he might have the ear of some of the top brass. What is the purpose then? If he doesn't have the ear, or you're not sure if he has the ear, or he doesn't have a prominent position, how is that really going to help us? So this week in our train operator meeting, the question came up again, but more on the side of supposedly Utano has spoken to the top brass of the NYPD, and our VP was asked, well, did you tell them what's going on in the subway as far as the police officers sleeping in the crew room? He said, no, he did not. So it's one thing to have a conversation and say, hey, we need help. It's another thing to actually have details of where we need help. You can't tell someone who doesn't work the system, hey, I need help, and just leave it open. And that goes for even speaking to Utano. Utano is he's not a conductor, train operator. He's not a station agent. He's not a CTA. He's been away from his tools for quite a long time. So he's not really versed in our trouble areas. So if the issue is that we have the officers, but the officers don't know where to go, or they're not going to the hot spots where there's trouble, how is that going to help us? So we're just actually wasting manpower and asking for things that we're not even utilizing properly in the first place. So that goes back to, where is my money going? There was something mentioned about applying pressure. So we want, according to, this came from our VP, the objective is to get them to apply pressure on the mayor to get more officers. That was the initial point, right? My thing is, if the mayor's not listening to you, because that's what they said, the mayor, because the whole thing is their fight against de Blasio right now. If the mayor's not listening to you, how else are you supposed to apply pressure? In my opinion, we should be self-sufficient when it comes down to that. We should be enough to apply the pressure. If we are keeping the city going and we are the ones that make sure these companies get their employees, they get their money from their customers, isn't the ball in our court? Don't we hold the power? So, and I don't want to hear this crap about Taylor law. Taylor law goes out the window when it comes down to safety. So if we're being stabbed, we're being punched, that goes out the window. We should not be moving these buses. We should not be moving these trains if these people cannot protect us. And that's first and foremost. If you cannot protect me when I go to work, there's no work to be done. I'm not going out there taking a risk on the hope that someone's going to be there and react to after I get hurt. Like, that's completely unnecessary. And you can't even say they're waiting for someone to die, because we've pretty much come very close to that, and someone has died. Someone has died. So if that didn't change anything last year, what hope do we have for it to change this year? In my opinion, it's just not enough being done. And then something that's disheartening, it seems like the onus is being pushed onto the members. It's like, oh, the members have to do this, the members have to do that. You're supposed to, like they like to say, mobilize and organize the members. If the members don't feel like you have their backs, you're supposed to go above and beyond to ensure that we know that you have our backs. You can't say, well, oh, we told this one, or we told Parsons that we got your back, but what happened to White Plains on the 2 line? And then that's another issue. These secret shop gates. And I'm going to say secret because no, they're not announcing these things. We have a full running website where these things could be announced. Just like they announced these so-called wins, they're going to be announcing, hey, RTO leadership will be at Stillwell at 4 o'clock. They will be at Flatbush at 2 o'clock. They will be at 145 at 6 o'clock on Monday. Like, why aren't these things being announced? Now, that question was asked in the Conductor Tower meeting, and the answer was disturbing. Oh, we don't really like to announce where we're going because there's a chance that we might have hecklers. They were actually called clowns. Members were being called clowns. I had to remind them that they were members. We don't want to be heckled. You're being heckled because people are not satisfied with your work. That's why you're being heckled. Don't get me wrong. No one's going to be 100% pleased, but the odds of you being heckled is going to be far less if they feel like you're present. Or am I mistaken? So you have a fear, a concern for being heckled. You have a concern for questions you don't want to answer. That's not a good approach, especially when you're supposed to be in a leadership role. Criticism comes with that. Like, once you take office, you have to know that not everyone's going to be pleased with your work. Not everyone's going to be pleased with your personality. You're going to have some naysayers. You're going to have some people that are just completely contrary, but that's part of the job. That does not mean that you stop representing people the way you're supposed to represent people. So I would like it to be more representation out in the field, and I would like to be notified when that representation is out there. And that's just the bottom line. So if our leadership is having a shop gate, it should be announced in advance. Just like when they have these press conferences. We were told in the meeting that, some of them are on the spot, or you only have an hour's notice, but all of them are not on the spot. You have an hour's notice. Notify your members when you're having these press conferences, especially the ones that are planned, so that you look like a strong force. You don't want to just come down there, especially when you have access to a membership of over 40,000 people, and you come down there and you have 6 people, 10 people, and this is not like it's a faction throwing it. This is Local 100. It's supposed to be one of the most powerful unions in the city. So where's our presence? That's a big concern of mine. I have my notes here, so I'm just gonna look at some certain things. So I don't know. Like I said, I feel like a lot of pressure, or a lot of the pressure is being put onto the membership instead of it being handled by the union. Don't get me wrong, I'm fully for member participation. Don't get it confused. Member participation is something completely different than what I'm talking about. I truly believe that we can be more active, but the union is partly responsible for the inactivity, the lack of faith, the lack of presence, the lack of transparency, the lack of accountability. They're supposed to represent us like a lawyer, not like a life coach. Hey, get out there and you guys do the work. You can do it. No, they're supposed to be representing us. They're supposed to be a strong force. They're supposed to be our protection, not behind us, pushing us into the forefront. That's not how it's supposed to go, in my opinion. Let me see what else I have here. On Wednesday, I attended the MAP Store rally. I guess wasn't really, I don't know if it was, you could say it was, okay. It was announced by Terrence Lane. I believe he's like the first chief line steward. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was really taken aback by some of the things that were said at that rally. Went there in support because this is a union. I was shocked that there was only MAB Stoa people there in attendance. I think something like that should have went local wide. It would have been great to just have more numbers there. TA Surface, MTA Bus, RTO, MOW, just once again, it's the thing about numbers. The numbers should have been better. But now I actually see why once I started hearing some of the things that were said. You have to be careful with your messaging when you say certain things. Now, I know with anything like how I'm going live, I can possibly say something that's incorrect or possibly say something that's going to be misconstrued or just taken out of context. But when you say certain things like they're getting it, but we're not, and you're talking about another department, that opens up the door for some trouble. We're supposed to be unified. It's not supposed to be, hey, why are they getting this, but we're not getting that. Maybe the message should have been like, oh, we need more. We need more coverage. We need more protection as a whole. You should be speaking about assaults, because that's what the rally was about. Assaults on bus operators. We need more coverage as a whole. We need more protection as a whole. Not saying, oh, everyone's paying attention to the subways. We the ones that kept things going when the subway shut down. That does not sound good. But I maybe that was just him speaking out of passion for the moment. But it's not the first time I've actually heard that sentiment come from Mapstoa. In particular, I've heard that come from Richie Davis when I watched a few of his videos when he does his shop gates. It's more of like, we're the best, forget the rest. That's not unifying. It really isn't. It breeds an environment for elitism, and a separation, a division. It's very divisive when you start telling people that your department is better than another department or more important than another department. Like here in Progressive Action, some people believe, hey, we're solely for RTO. That's not true. We have Mapstow, we have TA Surface. We cover all bases. We also have people from MOW. We have stations. So we're for everyone. Now, you may hear more things about RTO because me and Tramel are from RTO. Jason's from RTO. So we started quarterly with a lot of people from RTO. But I don't know if you know, but the very first people to join or to get Progressive up and running was it was more bus people than it was RTO. But when I came on, it kind of evened it out. But that's neither here nor there. Maybe we'll do an origin story another time. But so that's the thing there. Like, you cannot call for unity while saying we're better than you. We deserve more. We deserve more protection. Our people are out here being hurt. So it sounds like, forget that your people are being hurt. Look at us. We need the help. We all need the help. All operators, all members of Local 100 are in danger. It's not just train operators and conductors. It's not just bus operators, CTAs, anyone who, it's the patch that's being attacked. It's not just, Tramel said that too. It's not just, they're not attacking you because you're an operator or they know your title. They're attacking you because you're a representative of a company that they despise at the moment. Or they're attacking you because they're mentally ill. So that's another thing that needs to be addressed. The mental illness, the mental health of this city. We talk about this all the time, but for some reason, people like to be reactive instead of proactive. We have to start working at the source of the problem and not always after something happens. It just doesn't, we don't go anywhere, because if you keep treating something instead of curing it, we're going to still be here. What else do I have here? I mean, but listen, I commend anyone who takes a stand and speaks up for the members. Oh, interesting thing happened at that rally. It was actually hijacked at 2 different points. So while, I don't know if any of you are aware, but Wednesday was Malcolm X's birthday. And in Harlem, we shut down our stores for about an hour or 2, I believe. And people come out and they marched. The most memorable group that was marching was the December 12th movement. And they came and kind of took over the mic a little bit from the Mapstoa people. And they said everything that our union is afraid to say. Number one, they called out Cuomo. And we know that our union leadership have an issue calling out Cuomo. They love to talk crap about de Blasio, who's at fault too, but they never talk crap about the person who's actually running the MTA, which is Governor Cuomo. So they called out Cuomo. They gave props to New Direction, which is something else that our union cannot stand. They gave props to Toussaint. They talked about how strong this union used to be. So obviously they were fully aware of our state now. They would say they preached about us needing protection and how this would have been handled back then versus now. So it was like, you know, like those things that things happen for a reason, right time, right place. So that was the speech that we actually needed, not the fluff that tends to come out of our leadership, you know, the safe blame de Blasio and it's his fault and it's that person's fault, you know. So that was actually refreshing. Oh, another thing that was extremely alarming to me, there was a gentleman there. He said that he was an activist and he was trying to talk to the guys out there. And he was saying like, I understand you guys got problems, but the problems is not just about transit. The problem's about community. The problem's about the city. The city has issues. And he was talking about the mental. But I guess they were kind of put off by how he looked. You know, he had the gold teeth, the chains, he had locks, you know, like, you know how some people are about people that don't look like them. But anyway, so he was actually spitting some real facts. So he wanted to speak too. He actually had an opportunity because there were news people out there. Channel Fox 5 was out there. So he actually did get an opportunity to speak because someone else pushed him out there to speak. And the most disgusting thing happened when he started to talk. The members of the rally, like the people that like Richie Davis and them, they turned their backs on him and walked away. So where they wouldn't huddle behind who was speaking before, because they even had Levine, who I think he's running for borough president. They had a politician out there for what, I have no clue, because he didn't really say nothing of substance. They were all behind him, showing the force, you know, strength in numbers type of thing. But when this guy, who was actually a member of the community, started speaking, they walked away. But you want to apply pressure to de Blasio. You want to apply pressure to these politicians, this, that, and the third. But you don't want to stand behind the community that you service. Like, if anyone has the ear, it would be the community. Because obviously, listening to Local 100 is not doing anything for us. Them listening to us is falling on deaf ears. So why would you isolate the community? We need to work in conjunction with the community to get these things. Because it's not just us being hurt. They're being hurt too. And then on top of that, the community is my people. The community is my family. And I'm sure the community is your family as well. So I wouldn't want my mother to go up there and she's telling them the problems that she's facing while she's in the system. And you turn your back on her and you don't pay her no mind. That's completely disrespectful. So that just shows the mindset of our leadership. Once again, that goes to that elitism. That's obviously I'm having trouble with that word today, but you know what I mean. It goes back to that. So you have this superiority complex where you think you're better than, and you don't have to listen to the community. Well, I'm letting you know, we don't do that. We don't do that because we consider ourselves, Progressive Action, a union advocacy group and also a community advocacy group. Because the riders are the community. The community is our family. We are the community. I know some people don't live here anymore, but I still live here. So I felt the way that I'm also not just an employee of the MTA. I'm also a passenger. I still take the train. My children take the train. My mom take the bus. Like, so that it's important to me that their voices are heard. And then, another thing, we want to talk about safety and absence of police. Last week, I was on my way to Bergen Street, and some dude decided he was going to record underneath my skirt as I was walking up the stairs. So, like, these are the things that people have to deal with. Well, I handle that situation. But anyway, so these are the things that people have to go through on a train. So you have to worry about being pushed. You have to worry about being assaulted in more than one different way. Because technically I was assaulted. That's crazy. Like, I have no clue what he thought he was going to do with that video, but I guess he don't have it now. But just think of the disgusting things. And someone had posted in one of the groups, someone masturbating. Like, that seemed like it's a normal thing. It's not. That's not something that we should be accepting. Like, I understand, like, a lot of us have been down here a long time and we feel like we've seen everything and we become desensitized. But that does not mean that that's acceptable behavior. We're not supposed to just turn the eye, or that guy done dropped his pants over there, or that woman over there spreading her legs, peeing on the seat. We're not supposed to just turn and just go the other way. We have to report these things, because for some reason, we need our numbers to be accurate. When it comes down to assaults, when it comes down to these EDPs, we need more accurate numbers, because for someone to say, and I mean de Blasio, and who was the other person that said it? I think it was from the NYPD. Oh, the subway is safe, and that they didn't believe the reports from the MTA or something like that. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I'm just trying to give a insight of what's going on down there. Like, that's something that is crazy. Like, if that, I don't know how that would have unfolded if it was my daughter or something like that. So that's a bit disturbing. And the funny thing was, I'm trying to figure out whether that guy followed me for that purpose, because he got on at the first stop, which is my stop. First stop here on the 3. And he got off at Bergen. What are the odds of someone going from one stop to Bergen? Now, if it was 42nd Street, I fully understand. That's a popular stop. Even if it was Atlantic. But what is he getting off at Bergen for? But anyway. Let me see some of these comments here before I carry on. I'm not going to make this a long one. All right. Wait, I'm sorry. Okay, well, I'll come back to those comments. They're kind of far up. I keep getting these messages. Everyone's watching. But yeah, so that was the thing I wanted to speak about. May 25th. I hope I'm getting this information correctly. If I'm not, please check back with Jamar Pearson. May 25th, they're doing another ceremony for Global at Flatbush. I believe it's at 3 p.m. So check in with train operator Jamar Pearson. I think he made a live on R2 Information. So if you want to attend that, please do. Let's show support for our brother who passed and also his family. Mario asked, Newt, can't we have depth meetings online? Oh, I guess you mean department. That was brought up before about having the meetings available for live streaming, and that kind of hit a wall. I don't know if they supposedly these are supposed to be secret meetings. I guess that's what it is. It's supposed to be enclosed, just like someone had got in trouble for bringing the outsiders to the meeting. So, but if you're given a password, I don't see what the issue is. I'll definitely ask again and see how that goes. Oh, I had brought up a reoccurring subject that's been going on for the past few years, especially being that our participation in the division meetings are not where they should be. This is for RTO specific, to combine the meetings. So instead of us having conductor tower on the second Wednesday of the month and train operator on the third, why not have a joint meeting? Because conductor issues, there aren't many issues with conductors that are isolated to their title. Like if you're talking about like someone mentioned something about sweeps or something, like when you do the sweep when you're looking, train operators have to do the same thing. And we're a team, so I think this will actually bring back the whole team element for our department. We need as many things as possible to boost the morale and bring back the team to the titles. So I suggested that we do a joint meeting. Zach, which is the chair, he said that he have to push that up to Latanya. But as of right now, Latanya Chris, she's the recording secretary, she has to see whether or not it goes along with the bylaws. But I think that we can find a way to have unofficial meetings. But as of right now, if you weren't aware, if you weren't aware, all titles are welcome to all meetings. So if you can't make the second Wednesday of the month, but you can make the third, feel free. And your conductor, feel free to come to the train operator meeting, and vice versa. It will actually be better. Like, if you can even attend both, like, we need more participation. We need more input. Shouting at the walls or talking to each other in the crew rooms only could go but so far. Excuse me. These division meetings are where things are actually supposed to take place. Like, motions are put in, suggestions are taken. This is where the actions are supposed to be done. These are the powwows. So I encourage everyone to come to all meetings, or at least one. So if you can't make your meeting as a train operator, come to the conductor's meeting. These meetings are held twice in a day. So you have the AM meeting, which is 10, and then the PM meeting, which starts at 6. So like I said, the second and the third Wednesday of the month, 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. I encourage everyone to come. Let's hold our leadership accountable. Let's get our voices out there. Let's start speaking on these issues. Especially, I hear people complaining there's still problems with cleaning. So, like, that's another thing. So let's get this done. Like, that's something where I feel like we can definitely be better at. If we have an issue with our union leadership and we don't feel like they're taking accountability, we have to hold them accountable. We feel like they're not being transparent, we have to hold them to that. Like, we have to put the pressure on them, and they're supposed to put the pressure on the outside, which would be the MTA, politicians, whoever it is, these DAs. Like, that's what needs to be done. Why is it always just Wednesday? Now, that's another thing. We also discussed having the meeting in other locations and possibly other days. However, you have to come to the meeting to talk about that. We can't just put that in place. Like, all these things follow the bylaws. The bylaws we have available on our page, in our documents. If you want to take a look, we also have them for distribution. But so these things can't just be changed. You have to come to the meeting, put in a motion to, okay, I want meetings to now be on Thursday, or every other month it will be on Monday. Like, those things have to be discussed in the meeting. So you have to come to the meeting to make changes for the meeting. Oh, another thing that I always like to speak on, please, 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 I encourage everyone to get in contact with the union and make sure they have your correct address. Because if you are not aware, there's 2 mailing systems that the union uses. Now, whether they're doing it for corrupt purposes, we don't have to go there. But just because you receive the newsletter, the magazine, and other type of flyers and stuff, does not mean that they have your address. And the system that they use for the magazines and stuff is the mail. Like, they have they pay for a service where the post office sends whatever it is to your current address. They do not use that for ballots. So if you were not aware, this is an election year. That's also why the website is looking more active and looking like they're actually doing work, because it's an election year. These people want to stay in office and keep screwing us over. But anyway, these people want to stay in office. So please, please make sure that the union has your correct address. Do not assume that they do, because 9 times out of 10 they do not. Because I am elected, which means I had to submit my address again to be put on a ballot, and they still send my ballot to my mom's house, where I haven't lived for almost 14 years. So, like, please do that. I'm not gonna say please again, but yeah, that's very, very important. I'm trying to see if I missed anything. Oh, I might not talk about that right now. I don't want to, that's probably something that could go negative. I don't want to do that. But I just encourage everyone to fact check the things that they hear. That's one thing I do give to my team. We provide receipts. If something does not sound right, please ask questions. Ask for proof. Ask for it in the contract. Ask for it in the bylaws, the Constitution. Ask for evidence. There are people out there giving misinformation, and it's extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. It can cost you your job. As far as what I'm hearing, it has cost some people their jobs. So please, fact check. Ask for receipts. Don't be snowed by confident speakers. Just because they speak confidently doesn't mean that they are correct. So, fact checked all information. Speak to multiple people. Just like a doctor's appointment, get a second opinion before you commit to that and get yourself in trouble. I want everyone to be safe. I want everyone to keep their jobs because you worked hard to get it. Don't let anyone tell you different. You are a skilled worker. You are valuable. You are not easy to replace. Don't let them tell you otherwise. And despite the fact that the union is okay with these contractors coming in on a job, that is a whole nother subject for a whole nother time. Value yourselves, value your coworkers, bring pride back to your job, and your title. Love you guys. Be safe. Don't check any packages. Don't isolate any cars without proper PPE. And don't be afraid to take your train out of service if it's not safe. And conductors and train operators, if something looks crazy on the platform, do not open your window. Explain it to RCC. You do not feel safe. Do not be afraid to take your train out of service. Do not be afraid to contact RCC. And if they tell you to investigate, tell them to come investigate that shit themselves. Excuse my language. But if they're not willing to do that, then I don't know what to tell them. Have a good day. Oh, it's Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Good night, everyone. Till next time.